what made me so excited after going to the conference was that it was possible. I had not thought it was possible to be able to get 3 business class seats round trip to Europe on points, or at least the points that I could get. So, one, I would say it's absolutely possible. You could totally do it.
Hey there, Points people! You just heard a clip from Jennifer Dabowski, a student in the Points Accelerator. Jennifer is an acupuncturist, and she recently redeemed points to take her mother and her sister on an incredible trip to Switzerland and Italy. In this episode, expect to hear about how you can recreate a similar trip valued at more than $25,000, Jennifer's reviews of Swiss Airlines business class, and what it was like to stay at Park Hyatt Zurich, how in-person conferences can change your life when it comes to point strategies, how to get some guest of honor certificates, and so much more. And if you are looking to maximize your points so that you can travel like Jennifer, we have a free live training coming up at geobreezetravel.com/webinar. We're going to talk about how to optimize points, and I only do these free trainings a couple of times a year. They aren't recorded, so if you miss it, you miss out. Again, you can sign up at geobreezetravel.com/webinar. And if you're interested in joining the Points Accelerator so that you can save tens of thousands of dollars on luxury flights and hotels each year as well, you can join the waitlist at geobreezetravel.com/waitlist. And now, on with the show. Hey Jennifer, welcome to the GeoBreeze Travel Podcast.
Thank you, Julia. I'm very pleased to be here.
Amazing. I'm excited to have you here as well and to hear about the amazing trips that you have recently booked on points. I know that your family has gone over to Park Hyatt Zurich and a few other places as well. But before we jump into all of that, tell us a little bit about you and how did you get into the game of points and miles?
So I would say this. I have been an avid traveler pretty much since I was young, and I've always looked for deals. So, and I used points for many years, but I did not use them as effectively as I could. And all of that for many, many years. And then last year, I went to Chicago seminars and it blew my mind. I was so excited. I was like, oh my God. And that is when I lost my mind and just became totally obsessed with points and miles and started planning this trip and actually watching a ton of your video tutorials.
So walk us through, like, what level were you at right before you attended the conference? Were you already had some cards, you were redeeming through the portal, you had done basic transfers? Where were you at your journey at that point?
So I can't believe I didn't know this, but I did not know about transferring the points out. And I didn't use the portals either because I wasn't even in like the bank game. I had a Hyatt card, an American card, a United card, and then I forget whatever. I didn't have that many, but I had done the co-branded card. And so I was at that point and I was good at going on the airline websites and finding good deals to redeem the points, but I never thought I could get business class. I didn't have enough points and I would just find economy flights. And I was happy. Like I got round trip tickets to Mexico in economy. I got round trips tickets to Rome in economy. So I was at that point, but I did not know about transferring points out of the bank cards. I did not know how to really find the saver fares and then so many other little details. So I feel like I was pretty overwhelmed when I went to Chicago seminars last year.
What motivated you to go? Because a lot of people are like, yeah, you don't know what you don't know. So what kind of made you decide, I should invest in some additional help for this, both through attending conferences and then ultimately signing up for the Points Accelerator as well?
For me, it was more a matter of I am passionate about travel and I like to do things that I really enjoy. And I don't know, like honestly, I thought about it off and on for months and I live in Chicago. So I finally was like, you know what? I live in Chicago. I will go. And then it was great. It was so great. And I didn't really have any major motivation except I know I like to travel. Maybe I could learn something here. I'm going to give it a shot.
Okay, so right after that conference, usually people are inundated with information. Did you just try to implement it all and you're like, oh, this is way harder than I thought? Or were you like, I don't even know what next steps are. I should keep riding this high and look for other people who can help me because that's like a one weekend thing per year. What were your next steps after you're like, there's so much more to this game?
Well, I started listening to podcasts, your podcast. I started watching videos, and I did that pretty regularly. Probably every single day, I was listening to a podcast or watching a video and doing something to learn. So, and I joined your Patreon too, actually. I was in your Patreon and I just kept trying to learn more. If whatever I could find, I was trying to do it. And I really actually worked on it quite intensely for the first few months because I also had the idea for this trip, or I thought I could pull it off after the conference. So I was just looking into anything I could find all the time.
You said for this trip, what was the trip that you had in mind already?
Well, what I decided after the conference is that I told my mother's birthday is in September, and I knew that booking like 10 to 12 months out was the best. And I think the conference last year was a little earlier, it was in September. So I said to my mother and my sister, if you listen to me, I think I can get us this amazing European trip. And then I started really hunting and trying to figure out how I was going to make that work. And I have all the different things I did for that. And originally I was looking into Vienna, but ended up with Switzerland. And yeah, I just kind of the trip kept morphing, but I knew I wanted to go to Europe in business class. I wanted us, and my mom turned 79 and she had never been in business class, lie flat. And so I was like, we got to make this happen.
Walk us through the process. Were you getting other people to open cards? Were you just opening cards for everyone and managing the whole thing? For people who are like, I really want to get my family into this game, but they're just fighting me every step of the way.
Mm-hmm.
What's kind of the approach you took to convince them that this was a legit thing to do?
Well, I would say they're still a little annoying when it comes to exactly doing what I say. And my mom actually was a little better at it than my sister, but we all had some points. And like I said, I knew a little something. But what I did was to start off, my sister had a Chase Sapphire Preferred. So I had her refer both my mother and myself so that she would get those bonuses. And then my mother and I each opened those cards and we got, I think it was at 75,000 points. I can't remember. It was about that, 75,000 each. So we both got that card. Then I also got the Capital One card and I had my mom get the Capital One Venture X. So those were the only cards that were opened. And pretty much my sister, she got the referral bonuses. And lucky for us, she'd also done some work on her house a little while back. So she had some points. And what I did with both of them, as much as I could, I had them give me whatever points they had. And then I put them into use. So like with my sister, we called Chase and I got a guy on the phone and we had to go through a whole process. He had to talk to my sister and talk to me. And then he agreed to transfer only her point to me. So that was how I managed it. Plus, I also did talk to them about basics with shopping portals. I had them link their Chase cards to Lyft so they would get those extra points. I really try to get them to consult me before they do anything with points. Like my mom was going to rent a car. I'm like, wait, you can do it through the Capital One portal and get 10 points $1 and you can get a higher Hertz status. So and they love to travel too. So that helped.
How did you decide on Switzerland? Was it just that was the flight that came up the week that you wanted to travel, or what were kind of your search criteria that led you to that flight?
Well, for me, the main search criteria was, since it was my mom's birthday, I wanted her to go somewhere she wanted to go. And she liked Switzerland. My sister had been there once before and said it was so beautiful. She really wanted to go back. Plus, the other plus with flying into Zurich was we decided to also go to Stresa. Do you know Stresa?
No.
So it's not that far from Lake Como. And I had a former assistant, she's from Switzerland, and she had told me how amazing Lake Maggiore is. And she said, it's even more authentic. It's a little cheaper. It's so great. Maybe you should go there. And Stresa is the main town on the Italian side on Lake Maggiore. And Lake Maggiore has the Borromean Islands also. So you can do that. So what we decided was Stresa or Lake Como, you can get to from Zurich in like 2.5, 3 hours. And Stresa, you can get to in like 3.5 hours. So we figured we would go to Zurich and then spend some time there, go to Stresa. That's the one part we did not use points. We did it VRBO, but I did get points booking the VRBO because I booked it through the portal. And then we took a train back to Zurich as well. So it was because we could combine Italy with it. And that area is so beautiful. And we've all been to Italy before and love it so much.
Walk us through all of the details if somebody wanted to create a similar trip of, okay, here's the Chase points, we transfer them over to here. Here's how many points it costs, taxes and fees, where to transfer them, hotels. Let's start with flights. Walk us through everything.
Okay. So with the flights, I was super excited because when I wanted to get the outbound flights, there was a transfer bonus going on from Chase to Aeroplan, and it was 30%. So what I did for the flights there, and I found a flight from Montreal to Zurich for 60,000 points going there. So I said, I got the Chase points. I transferred 150,000 Chase points in to make 180,000 points. So then I was able to get all 3 tickets through Aeroplan on Swiss Air going to Zurich. And because that one left from Montreal, eventually I had to get a repositioning flight, but I waited, and then American had that super saver sale. So we were able to get one-way economy tickets to Montreal from Chicago for 5,000 a piece, which was great too. So that's how I got the tickets there. But then on the way back, I got the tickets a little later. Plus, I wanted to save Chase points for the Park Hyatt. So for on the way back, I used Capital One points, transferred the Capital Ones into Aeroplan. And then in Aeroplan, I was able to combine the points from my mother and myself. And then for the way home, I actually could have gotten it a little less, but it was my mom's birthday. And she liked this particular flight, and they were 76,000 a piece from Zurich to Chicago, but we had a stopover in Toronto. So we did that. And then it was 76,000. We transferred that from Capital One to Aeroplan and bought the ticket.
So was it Swiss Air on the way there, Aeroplan on the way back?
It was Swiss Air both ways.
Tell us
And
about
it was business class, by the way.
Tell us about the Swiss Air business class experience.
Okay, yeah. So I was very excited that we had booked the business class. And I would say this about the Swiss Air business class. No matter what, I was so happy to ride business class. But I'm going to be picky just for the review's sake. The food was not very good. I thought it would be a little better, and it was not very good. So across the board, none of us thought the food was very good. But they did give out chocolates, which were really good. And the other thing that I really liked was on the way home, I found a series and watched like the whole series. They did have a good blanket. I liked that they brought everything to me. I liked that I purposely had looked at Air Lopa for the seat. And I purposely had put us all in the seats where it's just single aisle. So we all had our own space, which was great too. Like that a lot. I also thought, for picky sake, that the entertainment screen for business class was not that great, nor was the selection phenomenal. So that's what I would say. But I was still very happy to be there. I got some champagne. That made me happy. It all made me super happy.
Did you get any sleep on the flight?
I got some sleep on the flight there. And my poor mom, she did not realize how to use the headphones. So she didn't get any sleep. I did use the headphones and the eye mask, so I was able to get some sleep. But actually, on the way home, I got so engrossed in whatever the TV series was I was watching. I felt this is my last chance to curl up and be left alone and just watch TV. So I focused on that.
Nice. So then you get to Zurich. Do you go straight to Park Hyatt from there?
Yes, we actually got in very early. We went right to the Park Hyatt because we figured like our flight landed at like 6:20 a.m. So we figured there's no way they're going to let us check in, but I wanted to at least drop our bags off. And the other thing was, and I also learned this from you, so prior to going, I had used a template that I got in the Points Accelerator for contacting them in advance. And because it was my mom's birthday, I let them know, and I contacted the guest relations manager. So that was prepared in advance. Plus, the other thing that made me so happy was Melissa in the Points Accelerator gifted us a Guest of Honor award. So we got that too. So we went right there. They couldn't get us in, but they took us to the spa and told us we wanted to shower or whatever. We could do that there. And then they would try to get us in early. They made sure to give us connecting rooms. So we went for a walk, hung out in Zurich, came back. One of the rooms was ready early, which was great because we were exhausted, but they were so solicitous and they were like kept coming to the room because they brought cake and champagne for my mom. They brought a fruit plate as well. So we had to keep waking up to get stuff, and we had connecting rooms, which was great. Yeah. So it was very nice. The hotel was great. And the breakfast was phenomenal. All you can eat buffet, plus you could order a la carte off the menu, which included like specialty coffees, eggs Florentine, whatever you wanted. It was wonderful. And I did check the price on that too. With the conversion rates as of today, it would have been about $100 per person every morning. So right there, that was around $900.
That is an amazing redemption.
Yes.
How many nights total did you spend there?
So we stayed 3 nights with 2 rooms. And I actually, if you want, I have the numbers for that too. Do you want?
Sure.
Okay. Because I did put all the numbers down. Oh, and I didn't. Do you want me to tell you the numbers for the flight? I didn't tell you the flight numbers.
Yeah, absolutely.
Okay. So the flight numbers, total points, including the American Saver, was 393,000 points for round trip. And the retail value would have been about or over $18,000 for just the flight. For the hotel, the total in points, actually, we also stayed at another Hyatt the last night before we left. But at the Park Hyatt, the total in points was 250,000 points. And as of today, because I checked the conversion rate, it was $943 a night. And we had 2 rooms. So the total for that, I think, was like $5,658 for the hotel. And so those are the numbers for that hotel. Plus, like I said, the breakfast, if you want to add that in, that was around $900. And then the other thing was the last night we stayed at the Zurich, the Hyatt Place Zurich, right by the airport. And I used a free night certificate and then got another room for 18,000 points. And then that would have been close to $600 if we had booked the rooms with money.
So what did you have to spend any out-of-pocket costs on, since flights were mostly covered by points except for the taxes? Hotel was pretty much just covered on points.
Taxes and fees for the airline or for the flights was only around $500. They were not bad. The part we spent money on was the VRBO and Stressa. And you know what else? In Switzerland, the train is expensive. I would suggest to anyone they either get a half price train card or the train pass if they think they're going to be there for a while using the train. So I would say the train, eating out, and then of course the VRBO in Stressa, which was 4 nights.
Very nice. So all in all, for 3 people to do this trip, round trip, business class flights to Switzerland, which is notoriously expensive, and then also hotels covered at a very nice hotel, what was the sticker price on all of it versus what you paid?
Okay, if you want to include breakfast, it would be just over 25,000. If you don't include breakfast, it's like 24,210.
Nice.
As of today with the conversion rate.
Yeah, those Swiss franc conversion rates can be not so much in the US favor if you're a tourist, but if you are calculating how much you got out of your points, it can be pretty good.
Yes.
So did this wipe all of your points, or are you still like on a pretty good train of earning more points for your next trip? How are you doing now?
Well, this is the thing. I personally have a good amount of points, or at least enough that if I wanted to go on another European vacation with business class, I could do it. However, my mother and sister, I feel, are probably not at the same level as me, and they are not being as cooperative. I try to tell them if we want to do another trip, we have to book in advance, which means you need points in advance. So we'll see. I haven't decided yet. I have a lot of different trips I've been thinking about. It did wipe out a lot of my Chase points, but then I got a Chase Ink card this year, so that helped build them back up. So I'm not wiped out, but it certainly took a lot of points.
What's kind of your strategy for earning points going forward?
Well, I have my own business. So I've been an acupuncturist for almost 24 years, and I've had my own business for that long as well. And so one thing that's always great, I put pretty much every expense I can, both with my business and personally, on credit card. And then I would say some of my other strategies include, one, just everything I could hook up. Like, I can't remember it off the top of my head, but like there's certain credit cards where if you pay for internet, whatever I hooked up, like I went through and tried to do it at the most optimal way on my Lyft rides, for example. I don't even have a Bilt card, but I have my Bilt number linked. I have my Chase linked, and I have whatever card I pay for it. But I would say also using shopping portals is very big. Oh, and I got some really good referral bonuses from friends too for Capital One, and they give 20,000 a pop for each referral bonus as well. So I would say that is probably the biggest way. I haven't been into opening a ton of cards. I probably at some point will open another card, but I think this year the only card I opened was the Chase Ink. Oh, and with the Chase Ink, I've been doing the gift card play where you buy the gift cards for 5 points $1 and then spend the gift card, which actually what I'll usually do with that is then I'll stack it by going through the portal. So I earn even more points.
Well done. So what is the next trip that you are trying to book?
So one trip I have in mind is flying into Vienna, staying in Vienna. And I've already checked there are Hyatts in all of these places. Well, I know the ones there's not. Also, there's an hour train ride from Vienna to Bratislava. And about 2 hours after that is Budapest. So I would like to go to Vienna, Bratislava, and Budapest, which would hit 3 capitals of 3 countries in one trip. So that's definitely on my list. I also really would like to go to do a Helsinki Tallinn combo. And they just opened a Hyatt in Tallinn for 8,000 points a night. They have no Hyatts in Helsinki. You can tell I'm on the Hyatt train. I'm going to try and expand. But I would like to do a combo of Tallinn and Helsinki. I would also like to go to Switzerland. I would like to go to Japan. And what else was really? Oh, Portugal. I really want to go to Portugal as well. And then I can think of so many other things. I've looked up also hotels in Thailand as well. And like there's a spa in Bucharest. Have you heard about this spa? It's the biggest spa. Oh my God, there is a thermal water spa in Bucharest, which is the biggest in Europe. And it has all these different floors, and at night it lights up, and it is supposed to be unreal. I want to go there. And one of the things that's cool in Tallinn, they also have a thermal spa, but it's not as big, but it's considered very big, called Elemus. So I like the thermal spa theme. So I'd like to do that as well. Oh, and of course, I'd like to go to Norway too, Greece, any trip. That's the other thing too with me. It's like if something kind of presents itself, then maybe I'll even follow that.
How many of these trips are you taking per year?
Like I said, I have always loved to travel. So whatever, just as life has gone on, I have found places and ways to go. So like when I was young, I was an exchange student and I figured that out. Like I said to my parents, hey, I think I want to do this. And my mom said, oh yeah, well, if you do all the work. And she didn't think I would do it. And I did. So I went to Paris for a year. When I was in college, I used to find like these great cheap hotels. You could rent out an apartment through a hostel for like $40 a night in New Orleans. And so I got friends together. So like 4 of us would rent this place. We would spend $10 a person and get cheap flights to New Orleans for Mardi Gras. So I had like the college years of doing a lot of fun stuff. Then when I was in grad school, I found a great ticket through Cathay Pacific because I was doing an internship in Beijing. And I also wanted to travel in Southeast Asia. And I found this ticket through Cathay Pacific where it was $1,100 for 30 days and 30 countries in Asia. If you paid whatever it was, I ended up paying like $1,900. I had 3 months in Asia. I was on 17 planes. I was in Beijing, a few different places in China, like Qingdao. I went to the Great Wall. I went to Thailand. I went to the Philippines. I went to Boracay, all these great places. Oh, Bali. So I found that. And of course, you can do that really cheap. And I had great cheap tickets. And I don't know, pre-COVID, I would say I usually go on at least 1 or 2 trips a year, but sometimes it may just be like to Florida. But if I can, I do like to go international. Like I also found some really good deals to Iceland and Copenhagen, both pre and during the pandemic. Like I had gotten a round trip airfare to Iceland and Copenhagen for like $475. And then during the pandemic, I found a deal and I convinced my sister to go with me where for 2 people, I can't remember if it was 3 or 4 nights, hotel, round trip air, 2 people, like $1,200 and breakfast was included. And it was like being sold when everything was shut down. So you had to like plan it for whenever. So whatever I can find, I will do almost.
Amazing. Okay, so it sounds like you have quite the bucket list and your points are propelling themselves pretty well because of the strategies you were able to implement from the points accelerator, and also because being a business owner is kind of the hack to so many things. It makes a lot of things easier as well. So yeah, any other wins that you'd like to share with the group, or like cool things that you've learned, or if somebody is in the same spot that you were in right before you attended that conference or right before you signed up for the program, what would your advice be?
Well, what made me so excited after going to the conference was that it was possible. I had not thought it was possible to be able to get 3 business class seats round trip to Europe on points, or at least the points that I could get. So, one, I would say it's absolutely possible. You could totally do it. And I did not realize it would not mess up your credit to open a few more credit cards either. I had concerns about that as well. That was not true. I would also say that there's so much to learn, because I know I've been trying to learn so much over this time, and yet there's always more to learn. And I think just on the last podcast, you said something about, but you think you're going crazy, and then you hear, oh, wait, here's someone going even crazier. And it's true. Like, people say, oh, yeah, you know this so well. And then I talk to somebody who's just doing something amazing, like getting a week in the Maldives at an overwater villa. So I just think it makes so much possible. And to me, I love to travel. So I think that's great. I would say it's also definitely nice to have a community. The Points Accelerator, I was so thrilled that Melissa would give us the Guest of Honor Award. That just made our trip. I sent her some chocolates from Switzerland. I was just so grateful. And that going down to that phenomenal breakfast every morning was such a treat. Okay. Like, we never would have eaten like that.
For anybody wondering about like how do I get these guest of honor certificates, we have a forum in our school community as part of the Points Accelerator where
Mhm.
sometimes people aren't going to be able to use their certificates before they expire. So they just give them out to different people in the community, make somebody's day. And so if that's something that you could benefit from, or if you're like, I have so many expiring certificates, I'd like to just gift to other people, come hang out in the Points Accelerator, because that's something we can do as well. You also mentioned referral bonuses that you get from friends on
Mhm.
cards. We send out referral links as well. So if you're like, how do I get more referral bonuses? Points Accelerator can help with that too.
Yes. And I think it's also nice to have a community where you can put things out and ask questions. And people are quite nice about answering questions and just commiserating with other people who are into points and miles.
For sure. Well, thank you again, Jennifer, so much for joining us on the call today. It was such a pleasure getting to hear your stories about all of your travels and especially your amazing wins with the Switzerland trip. And I look forward to hearing about even more wins from you in the future.
Thank you so much, Julia. I am so happy to be here, and I really appreciate you having me.
Thank you.